Good afternoon. Good afternoon to every one of you. Good. I think it is very difficult to attend the post-lunch session, I know, and also equally difficult to host the post-lunch session. But fortunately, we have speakers on the dais who will keep you awake. They have a very good power-packed presentation today. So now the theme for this session is AI-powered transformation with data integrity, right? So what is this AI? Artificial intelligence. What is that? I just asked Google what is it. Google said, ability of the machine to display human-like capabilities such as reasoning, learning, planning, and creativity. Do we see all this today? Some response is required, then only you can be awake, right? See, I will just tell you an example in my own case. See, in my organization, I used to get mails from my colleagues. Suddenly, in the last 3-4 months, I am seeing some of my colleagues who cannot even write 2-3 statements correctly in grammatically are writing excellent English. How do you think this is? Yeah, even if you take Google in Gmail, it automatically asks, when I write some type of mail, it asks me, Alt-H, polish. So you write anything, scribble anything, and say polish, it writes a wonderful reply mail. Then it says elaborate, you want to elaborate. It asks whether you want to shorten, shorten. Right? So that is AI. So AI is already there. Not only that, when you book a ticket for airlines, whom do you think is fixing your the price of the ticket? It's again. And similarly, when you go to the airport, you are being monitored by AI. And when you enter into the flight, after the door is closed, AI guides the pilot. So AI is everywhere there. Whether you realize, recognize or not, we are already into it. So the message here is, if you don't change and try to adopt AI, you will not be there. Have you heard about Kodak? What happened to Kodak? Kodak is bankrupt no more. Why? Yeah, that's what people think, because Kodak did not change with the time. They did not change with technology. It's not true. The truth is, they already had the digital technology, digital camera. But like my organization, in that organization, the marketing people said, the marketing head said, no, we are selling so many rolls, don't kill it. And every zone I am able to make so much of money. Why are you bringing this digital? Because it is going to be only one time. And that's where they lost. So we need to be abreast of technology, and also we need to use that technology. You should not forget it. So that is, please remember this Kodak thing. So I'll just, somebody told me, when you start the session, just give some brief. People talk about big jargons, plus give me a brief. So I thought I will just give a brief, and all the power-packed presentations will be done by the eminent speakers here. Right? So when you see the definition of AI, as I said, it is all reasoning, learning, planning, etc. But there are 3 types of AI people talk about. One is narrow AI, which we said is directly, it is independent of the learning. There is something called artificial general intelligence, AGI. There it has some sort of learn, think, and perform similar levels to humans. And the other one is superintelligence, which will be better than the humans. Now, when you talk about AI, people think some jobs will be lost, something will be moved out. Okay, of course, in the process, that can happen. See, when computerization started, I remember in the banks, when my earlier days, when you used to go to the bank, there used to be a big ledger. The clerk used to, when you give the passbook, he will write down in the ledger and then copy that in the passbook and give. Today, it is not there. None of you would have seen that now. But do you mean to say that the jobs are lost? The jobs are not lost, but the skill level of people have to be upgraded. So upskilling happened, and it will not be. Similarly, when you look at the AI, I think you should look at, rather than automation, on augmentation. It is going to help using the intelligence. That's how it will get acceptance, and that's how the high chance of failure will be removed, and the cost also will be there. So then, what are the different types of AI? I'm not going to read this theory. Just to give, traditional AI is like what we talk about, the data analysis, and then the giving the capabilities like forecasting, etc. Then you have something called generative AI. Generative AI is, in simple terms, if I want to tell you, for example, if you say there is you want to duplicate some picture or duplicate, for example, a currency, you read it, and then the system says, gives the feedback, this is what it is. And then you see that there is some difference between the original and the duplicate. So it gives those corrections. Maybe the blue color is high, then automatically adjusts. Then next time it says red color is high, it adjusts. So likewise, it iterates and tries to bring very close to the original. Just to understand in colloquial terms, I gave this example of generative AI. And predictive AI uses a lot of statistics, you know. You talk about regression model, time series, all those, and then it tries to see. So that's just to give a flavor about all these three. Now, how this is going to help in quality management? So we talk about machine learning. What is this machine learning? So whatever happens in actual, so the system tries to understand and store and tries to compare and tries to understand every time. It helps you in predicting and preventing quality issues. Next, it also helps you in optimizing process. And at last, it is helping you to improve the continuous process. Now, to give a little more detail, there are areas where we use today the vision system to try to see and understand how the dimensional errors, how the defects can be prevented. And similarly, we can use this for optimizing the process, for example, temperature, pressure, etc., vibration of the machines, right? And then we also talk about digital twins. What is this digital twin? I think one of our speakers is going to speak at length with all those applications. Don't get frightened by these jargons. These were there. When you ask me, when was this artificial intelligence started? It was in 1955. And we are talking in 2025. So it's not that new, and the digital twin is nothing but, you can see, it is like, I would say in simple terms, it is like a simulation with added on features of predicting. Maybe you'll get a better explanation in by the subsequent speakers. Now, you would have heard about all these things, these jargons: predictive analysis, machine learning models, computer vision. So all these things some of these use the statistical techniques like regression analysis, time series, etc. And in machine learning, what we call as supervised learning, and then that is training the model with some labeled data, and unsupervised learning, and something called reinforcement learning. So I think we will be listening to some of our presenters today. And computer vision, I think most of us would also have implemented in our own areas like vision systems. There are many examples. I'm not getting into the details. Siemens is using extensively in terms of visual inspection. And similarly, Nestle, to segregate any, when the food products are supposed to be highly hygienic. So even if there is any contaminant, then that becomes unhygienic. So determining these unhygienic parts also is done by this AI. And then similarly, in all automobile manufacturers use for various purposes. But let me come to what we do in Rane Madras Engine Component Division. See, we used to have a final inspection where we do 3 operations. We do a leak test of the valve, we manufacture valves, so we check the valves, we check the multiple parameters of the valve using a multi-gauge, and then we also do a visual inspection, and then it is passed. Till now, we have been doing manually. There will be a human being who will be doing. You can imagine how much monotony will be there for the people who are doing. Can you just click the tab? Now we have tried to do it for one of these, that arrow. valve which is picked by a robot and then place it on the leak tester. It checks for the leak. And once this is passed, it is taken to the next operation called multi-gauge, where it checks for multiple parameters using a robot. Multi-gauge operation is over, and once the result all are green, it is passed. It puts on to the green channel, green chute, which is good. And you can see there are multiple chutes which are for various defects. So it also picks and puts into the respective chute. So today we have implemented in a couple of lines, and now enormous data is being captured in terms of various defects. Now this can be, now we are having a team of people who will work on this to create an artificial intelligence where it can tell you which machine, which time, which process, how it should be addressed. Using the FTA, you have the complete fault tree analysis, it will go through and then give this. So that's what we are trying to attempt. And similarly, there is another example where we do an online SPC. You measure and just press the Bluetooth button, the data goes into the server. Now you have enormous data, it draws only the SPC chart. We can get various analysis from this, and that's where we are working on currently. So this is how we try to migrate towards the artificial intelligence application of AI. And the last one is on the security, data security. When we are going to use so much of data, we are at several risks. You have heard about a lot of things like this in the past. See, Air Canada chatbot commits 80% discount for the customer, so they lost money. And similarly, you have multiple threats. Last year, I hope every one of you would have got this cyber attack. We said that there are a lot of data being used, and we are now available on the web. So anybody can come and hack, and there is a data which says that when you compare with other countries, we are 3x more in terms of this type of vulnerability. So that's where I think the cyber security is very important. While we do all this in our factory, we should also protect it. So that's where we need to go into cyber security. So that's where I think some of our speakers will be speaking. I have taken more time than this. Thank you. So at the end of this session, what is the impression all of you have got? நாளையிலிருந்து ஏஐன்னு ஒன்று வந்து ஏதோ பண்ண போகுது, குவாலிட்டி நம்ம எந்த வேலையும் பண்ண வேண்டாம், அதானே? Future தான், future it has already come. We are seeing AI every day now. See, please, I just try to quote my mentor and professional guide, Dr. Ravichandran. Nothing in manufacturing will work if you don't touch the process, touch the machine, touch the people. AI can only help you, augment you. Definitely you need AI, but it has to augment all of our process and make it an excellent one to improve our efficiency and productivity. And finally, I would like to quote from today morning. I have been hearing right from our chief guest, Mr. T.K. Balaji, about China, and followed by our ex-chairman of ISRO. I would like to share my experience of China. In 2019, month of September, I visited a place called Wuhan. That time I didn't know about Wuhan. If I had known, I would not have gone. I went there to source a machine for laser cladding. You know, we are making engine walls. At the tip of the wall, we need to deposit a stellite material. Just 0.2 mm, we need to make a dish and then deposit this. I happened to go there, and we had connected with a supplier in Wuhan. And the promoter was a lady. She took me in her car. It was like a big township. I am from Neyveli, so I am saying that it is like a Neyveli township. Huge place, only for laser. There are about hundreds of offices, factories, etc. Everybody is specializing on laser. So she took me to her office, and then I explained what is that I need. She noted down. she couldn't understand and comprehend. So she told me, come on with me. She took again in her car into the same township in a central place. There is a very big university. Again, that university in that Wuhan township is focusing only on laser research. So she put me in front of a professor. I did the same, explained the same thing. He took me around the university. He showed me laser cladding from small thing to a very big shaft, turbine shafts, and how the machine is being designed. He gave that design to this supplier, and then she made that design, and then they supplied. Now, why I'm saying this is, like we listened in the morning, China is growing, China is prospering because they also invest in this type of thing. We talk about isolation like IIT Madras and some of the institutes, but I think every township should be developed for each one of these different fields, and we should also, the institutes also should support, and particularly like our country where we have MSMEs, if that type of support is extended, I think definitely India can prosper better than anybody else. With this, I conclude this session and thank you.
Session.